Now listen to me carefully, this is very important information. Every one of you has this problem. An energetic blockage isn't positioned straight, it is extended. And if two blockages intersect, that's a zone of chronic diseases. Now look, when toxins combine with static tension, chronic inflammatory processes occur. Diabetes is the combination of toxins with static tension. Bronchial asthma, rheumatism, severe skin diseases like eczema, psoriasis, these are toxins combined with static tension. And when static and dynamic tensions combine, it gives a person chronic diseases. Combination of static and dynamic tension is most common. If static and dynamic tension combine on the fifth energy layer, it results in schizophrenia. Toxins combined with dynamic tension on the fifth energy layer result in epilepsy or cerebral palsy, autism in children. Each energy layer has a physical zone and a subtle zone. If an energetic blockage moves into the physical zone on the fifth energy layer, it will cause cerebral palsy. It will contort a person. But if the blockage on the fifth layer and these two blockages move into the subtle zone, then it will cause autism. That's the whole difference. How to treat a child? They won't be engaging in prolonged continuous movement, will they? There are ways. I want to tell you something else. Static tension in the body is removed by using trees. They stand still, not moving, and accumulate this power. So, when a person stands near a tree, their energetic blockages are cleansed much faster. But for the lazy, besides water, there's another method of passive cleansing. If it's winter, dress up very well. Put on a fur coat or 5 fur coats. Take a camping chair, go out and sit next to a tree. Relax. In 20 minutes, one energy layer is cleansed. In 1 hour, 40 minutes, all 5 layers get cleansed. And you might even feel, at some point, that it becomes difficult to sit. That means you've reached an energetic blockage. This is called passive cleansing by using trees, and each tree heals its own diseases. Linden tree heals cerebral palsy, autism, mental diseases. Aspen treats blood pressure disorders, relieves nervous tension. Poplar tree treats female diseases. It cures female infertility. Pine tree heals male infertility. If you stand near pine, it heals viral and chronic viral infections. Oak heals the spine. Maple heals joints. Birch heals allergies. Of course, unless you're allergic to the birch itself, it treats asthma, treats the stomach. Willow treats the gastrointestinal tract, and willow also heals skin diseases. You might say, and here, Dr. Torsunov, we only have birch and pine trees. So stand near the birch or the pine trees.
And what does the apple tree heal?
All fruit trees primarily heal depression. Apple tree heals the gastrointestinal tract, treats the liver. Cherry and plum trees treat the blood vessels, and cherry trees also treat blood formation. A tree, to be used for healing, should be at least 30-40 centimeters thick. Very thin trees will not heal. They lack power. If a tree is thicker than a person, that's perfect. And now, I give you a rule. Listen carefully. Stand with your back to the tree and hug your husband. You don't need to hug the tree, and you shouldn't stand with your back to your husband, got it?
Does the tree need to be thick?
The thicker, the better. I tried standing near an oak tree. Its trunk circumference was bigger than 3 people's arm span. It was just awesome. When you stand near it, everything starts vibrating. Energetic blockages get removed with a whistling sound. It is very powerful. If your child is autistic, go to the sawmill and ask for a linden log. If there's no linden, at least ask for an aspen log. You have aspen trees in the forest, right? Aspen is also fine. Linden, aspen, the tree must be thick. Place it under the bed of a child or a person with mental diseases. The base of the tree at the feet, the top towards the head, without branches, with the bark. Just the tree lying under the bed provides the treatment. So, the static tension is passively cleansed while the person simply sleeps. And this tree, it won't run out quickly of its healing power. Someone once asked me, how often should the trees be changed? I jokingly said, every 3 days.
So can one cut different ones?
It must be a whole log, not just branches.
Dr. Torsunov, what if we make a bed out of juniper? How does juniper work?
Juniper heals a person. All coniferous trees heal viruses, bacteria, tumors. These are male species of trees. They dissolve tissues. Juniper heals all diseases of the intestines, stomach, viral diseases, parasites. Everything related to the intestines and stomach can be cured by juniper. And viral infections are cured by pine trees. Now, about autism, cerebral palsy, how to treat children. Listen up. Salt water heals dynamic tension. You can reach up to the 5th energy layer. And unsalted water heals static tension. So, fill a bath. Make the water 28 degrees without salt. The child should stay in the bath for 70 minutes. After 3 days, fill the bath again. Make it 36 degrees, that means warm water. Pour in 3-4 kilograms of salt. Stir it. Maintain the temperature at 36 degrees. The child should stay there for 15 minutes, cleansing 5 energy layers. And alternate like this: fresh cool water, warm salt water. And you will be treating static tension, dynamic tension, static tension, dynamic tension. So it will gradually reduce autism. How does the treatment of energetic blockages occur? On average, a person cleanses a blockage over 3 months of practice according to the schedule. Not the body, but the energetic blockage. Then it takes another 2-3 months to treat the affected organ itself. So it takes 6 months until the organ is healed. And then, after the body has healed, it takes several more months to treat fate. Energetic blockages can affect personal life. They can affect your work. First, the subtle body is treated, then the physical body, and then fate. So if you cleanse energy blockages for less than half a year, you won't reach fate. After more than half a year, your personal life starts to heal. If there's a dynamic blockage in personal life, then most likely there will be coldness in the relationship. There won't be love. If one has a static blockage, one will be irritable, nervous. And if there are toxins, you'll have doubts. Should I marry? Should I not marry? That means you need fasting to remove doubts. If you have a severe chronic illness, start slowly. First the bath, then add static exercises, then carefully dynamic exercises. Don't rush. You have your whole life ahead. Then start fasting, and so gradually you'll get healed. Move from simple to complex. Don't start with the complex right away. The harder, the more abruptly a person pushes themselves, the worse the healing will progress. Everything should be done gently, gradually. Start with water at 28 degrees, then bring it down to 22 degrees. As soon as the water reaches 24 degrees, you should always finish your treatment in warm water, because it's too cold for the body. 22 degrees, that's already cold water. You'll start shivering. When the water is below 12 degrees, such an effect occurs where the subtle energy of the water becomes stronger than the person. This means that if you endure it, you enter this water. It doesn't matter where your blockages are. It will be very difficult to withstand 12-degree water cleansing the first energy layer, because the body will tense up a lot, and there might even be cramps in the body, or cramps and pain might occur in the body from this water. But if you endure cleansing of one energy layer, then you can withstand the cleansing of the remaining 4 layers without problems, because the body just goes numb and it doesn't feel the blockages. They are broken through abruptly. Therefore, if a person has learned to stand in icy water, they can enter an ice hole. Some people will need to enter the water and come out of it about 5 times to let the body get accustomed to this energy force. And then, if your shins are accustomed, then it means the whole body is accustomed. Suppose you enter the ice hole, your legs cramp, get out. Enter and exit several times. If your legs don't cramp anymore, go further. Don't be afraid. Stay for 5.5 minutes. It's best to either wear mittens or raise your hands up like this. I surrender. Because you shouldn't lower your hands into icy water. Fingers can get hurt. In mittens, the fingers won't be harmed. You can also cover your feet. Warm socks on your feet, mittens on your hands, a cap on your head, and off you go. You can run in just underwear in winter. Mittens on your hands, a cap on your head, and keep your feet warm too. And then run. Nothing will freeze. Don't worry about that either. Nothing will get frostbitten. Everything will be fine. And if something does freeze a little, it will thaw out. It's a joke.
What about cystitis?
Cystitis means you have an energetic blockage on the second energy layer and you didn't cleanse it properly. Suppose you ran in the frost but you hadn't done static exercises. That means there will be an inflammation of the bladder if the blockage on the second energy layer is located at the bottom. If you clear the blockage by static exercises and run in the frost, nothing will get inflamed. Everything in the body is clean. Do as much asceticism practice as you want. You won't get sick. Everything will be great.
If there's no fatigue, can one walk for a long time?
4 hours?
No. If there's no fatigue, can one keep walking? Or should one follow a time schedule?
More than 4 hours, you'll be cleansing all over again. I ran 21.5 kilometers, cleansing 5 energy layers. I studied it. My pulse was steady like this, slowly rising. My average pulse during the run is about 135. Then again I ran, clearing 5 energy layers. I went through cleansing again. My pulse started to rise. Why? Because I was overstraining the body. The body had already cleansed itself. I went for a second round. That's an overload. That's also normal. I studied this. 21.5 kilometers. That is 5 energy layers for me, plus one more and a bit more. A re-cleansing. I cleansed the first energy layer twice. You just need to rest more. The body relaxes more deeply that way. But overall, it's not necessary. To cleanse 5 energy layers, there's no need to practice fasting for more than 2.5 days. There's no point. Now, fasting without water. This is a stronger type of fasting. Because when you drink water, the sun enters you, but you're not used to it. You cleanse it. When you drink water, you cleanse the sun. But if you don't have toxins in your body, no negative energy, your body is already well cleansed. You can practice fasting without water, and you will accumulate and release the sun's energy. You won't have any problems. If you can easily practice fasting without water, clearing one energy layer, that means you can withstand the hottest sun cleansing one layer. For example, in Sochi, at 40 degrees in the middle of the day, the sun cleanses a person in about 18-20 minutes. This sun is harmful to the health of an ordinary person. But if a person practices fasting without water, clearing one energy layer, say one fast for a day to clear 2 layers, one can stand under the scorching sun for 40 minutes. Nothing will happen to them. If a person can practice fasting without water for 2.5 days, they can stand under the scorching sun for an hour, cleansing all 5 energy layers. And nothing will happen to them. They will have no problems. When you have a sunstroke, what does it mean? You're standing in the sun. It reaches toxins in your body. Toxins suddenly go into your blood and you collapse. Why? Because the sun broke through your energetic blockage and you have an explosion of toxins in your body. So, if you want to cleanse in the sun, you need to stand in water up to your neck. Cleansing with water and sun simultaneously is very harmonious. Water does not overcool a person. The sun doesn't overheat you. In the sun, you cleanse solar blockages. In the water, you cleanse water blockages. Look at the sun with your eyes closed and chant a prayer.
Should one wear something on the head? A cap, maybe?
What for? You're being cleansed. A cap on the head will hinder it. It would create an imbalance. Oh dear, the sun, it's dangerous, oh dear. That's what doctors have taught you. The sun gives health. When I first arrived in Israel, I stood in the water under the sun for the first time. I felt so nauseous. Oh dear, one may have skin cancer. Such thoughts start to appear. I was born in the Urals. I'm by nature a revolutionary. So, damn them all. And I closed my eyes and prayed. The next day it got easier, then even easier. And then 2 weeks passed, and I went for a run in the sun. I cleansed 5 energy layers. But the sun there isn't the strongest. In the morning sun, it takes about 35 minutes to cleanse one energy layer. I run for 1 hour and 50 minutes. During that time, I cleansed 3 energy layers, probably 1 layer in 30 minutes, and 3 layers were cleansed while I was running. Then I stood in the water after the run and cleansed 1 energy layer and a half. And while I was walking home, the sun also cleansed 5 layers. So I ran to clear 5 energy layers, stood in water clearing 5 layers, and also cleansed 5 layers with the sun. I rest wonderfully in Israel. It took 2.5 hours to complete this practice, and everything was cleansed, the whole body. I do this practice once every 6 days. Very good. During an exacerbation of diseases, I would not advise you to engage heavily in asceticism practices. When your body is clean and something flares up, then with the help of asceticism practice, you can very easily remove it.
And when you start, what's best?
Best when you first feel a nagging pain.
And if it hurts?
That means you are doing asceticism practices incorrectly.
It's chronic.
Don't worry. First, stay in water. You should alleviate the flare-up in water, and then it won't flare up anymore. Stay in 28-degree water for 70 minutes for 3 weeks, and then nothing will flare up anymore. Because there's nothing to flare up, no static tension, no flare-ups, that's all.
Will normal intestinal function be restored?
Not restored, but simply there will be no inflammation. Then you start doing static exercises. and you strengthen further, then you move on to dynamic exercises. The intestines will start to cleanse. That's all.
What if there is a reaction to foods?
This means you still have toxins. It's the second energy layer, so you need 24 hours of fasting. I can tell you how to practice fasting to improve faith. Want to know? On Sunday, we fast to obtain joyfulness, a sense of self-worth, masculinity, for men, to obtain beauty, for women, to become a radiant maiden, fast on Sundays. On Monday, we fast for personal life, to achieve harmony. Monday is a day for personal life and harmony. The energy of the Monday fasting goes into getting married or living well in a family. When a person fasts on Tuesday, the energy goes into willpower, overcoming difficulties, and tumors are dissolved. In order to dissolve something, practice fasting only on Tuesdays. On Wednesday, we fast for friendship, for business, to have a good speech, to be a good person. When a person fasts on Thursday, their energy goes into self-improvement. If a person fasts on Thursdays, they get the opportunity to better work on themselves. There's 20 minutes left. I could lecture for 4 hours. You practice fasting on Friday when there's no joy in life. You look at nature. Dr. Torsunov said we need to rejoice. I don't feel joyful. So fast on Fridays. Joy will appear in your life. And if everything's bad in all aspects and you don't know when to fast, then do it on Saturday. So, those who are just having a tough period in life should fast on Saturdays. And if everything I listed or almost everything is going badly, then fast on Saturday. And the tough period in life will ease if you fast on Saturday. That's why Jews, being a wise nation, fast on Saturdays, just in case.
What if there's a reproductive function disorder?
If there's a reproductive function disorder, then you should fast on Fridays. Follow the schedule strictly, and everything will be fully restored. You see, toxins usually reach up to the third energy layer at most. That's my experience. Mostly, all energetic blockages arise from static and dynamic tension. For instance, in case of infertility, you need to do static exercises to clear 5 energy layers, dynamic exercises to clear 5 layers, and a 36-hour fasting, and that's enough. After 6 months, you'll be able to conceive just by a look. Why are you laughing? What do you think immaculate conception is? Do you know? It's not a one-off event. The Vedas describe many cases, even chronicles. Like Alexander the Great, it was also an immaculate conception, just so you know. Immaculate conception comes from angels. If an angel conceives in a woman's womb, they do so with a look. First, you need to cleanse well, pray, and then immaculate conception happens. And you might give birth to Alexander the Great, at the very least.
Dr. Torsunov, what do you think about standing on nails?
That's a toning practice. Toning practices include a contrast shower, hill running, sprinting. Standing on nails is not cleansing, it's stimulating the body. It's different. Cleansing is when you purify everything, but stimulation makes your body tougher, more resilient. Jumping into an ice hole and back out isn't cleansing, it's stimulation. But if you stay in there, that's cleansing. If you sprint suddenly, that's stimulation. You won't live long. You'll live well, but not long.
What if one stands on nails for more than 20 minutes?
That would still be stimulating. We've discussed how to cleanse the psychophysical layer during harsh periods of life. This layer gives you joyfulness, attention span, good health, workability, willpower, patience, and happiness. All these energies come from nature as a result of performing asceticism practices. If a person does all this, their quality of life skyrockets. People become healthy, happy, and joyful. And if you now want to cleanse your energy threads, that too can be done through asceticism practice. But you also need to perform good deeds. We'll talk about that tomorrow, about prayer, about good deeds. Tomorrow I'll tell you how you can restore your health and improve your life. It's also very important to know that there are some peculiarities of contact with water. For instance, icy water. When you gradually get to this asceticism practice, it allows you to remove the stone from the heart and chronic resentment. And how to do it? You stand in icy water and remember who you hold a grudge against, and think about it. During this time, the icy water will act on that energy thread and cleanse it, and the resentment will quit your heart. And prolonged continuous movement removes the feeling that you're a failure. A girl says, "Dr. Torsunov, I can't get married." I say, "You have a dynamic blockage on the 5th energy layer. You need prolonged movement." She says, I run clearing 5 energy layers and can't get married. I respond, run towards marriage. She laughed first like you, then she was running alongside me. I say, think about meeting someone, interacting, getting married. She was running and her pulse rose, because exactly in that thread, in that zone, she has a dynamic blockage. In everything else, there are no blockages. She's already cleared everything. And then she hit a snag. She even feared thinking about it, and she started running towards marriage. Eventually, everything cleared up for her as well. Everything's great. Do you know how a woman's will operates? She is running. She becomes like a man, a woman thinks, right? It's foolish to think that way. A woman goes to the gym. If she exercises correctly, does she become bulky? No, she becomes fit and toned, right? A woman who engages in prolonged movement, let's say running, where does her willpower go? It goes into her personal life. Meaning, she looks at the guy with the will obtained by her running. She looks at the guy, captures him with her gaze, and then strides past him with a beautiful gait and charms him. That's what running does. How is a man supposed to pray when he meets such a woman? I can't help with anything here. Praying is useless. That's how it works. And you say, he won't marry me. Practice prolonged movement. You need to captivate him. Women lack will, but a woman's will goes into her personal life. Not into becoming man, starting to fight and conquer. Her will goes into her personal life. Her husband won't leave. If her will is strong, he won't leave. Just like that.
Dr. Torsunov, does this system work for eye diseases somehow?
It works, but the problem is with glasses. You see, everything works. Just firstly, the body must be young. If you've been wearing glasses since age 7, it's already hard to reverse that because they're adapted. You'd have to change the whole structure. If a person doesn't wear glasses, it's about static and dynamic blockages on the 3rd energy layer. If they cleanse through 3 energy layers, don't wear glasses, and do eye exercises according to Girosyanov and Zhdanov, then it's possible to heal the vision. Well, it's too late for me. I've been wearing glasses since I was 7. I've tried. I have such a strong accommodation spasm already. Well, a young man could heal it if they want. First, you need to cleanse everything, then continue training. Because if you train your eyes but you have energetic blockages, it's all useless. Next question.
When there's just too much of everything, basically, when life is a mess, where to start?
Start with static exercises, then dynamic exercises, but first with water. Always start with the psychophysical body, my dears. Never start with anything else. First the psychophysical body, then good deeds, then prayer. If you're sick and you start praying, it won't help. The prayer won't be strong, because you need to first cleanse your foundation. Healthy spirit in a healthy body. Cleanse your foundation, then you will be strong in prayer. If you've cleansed your psychophysical body and want to learn more, come to the lecture tomorrow. I'll tell you what to do. It's a really cool and interesting topic. How to earn a lot in business, how to occupy a high position in society, how to raise children so that they love you, how to love your parents. We'll study all this tomorrow. Those who join will be able to do it.
Can I do static exercise for 65 minutes every day?
You can do it every day if you're trained. If you're just starting out and you've managed to endure 65 minutes of a static exercise, barely holding on, start doing it every 3 days. Then gradually you can do it every 2 days and eventually every day.
Dr. Torsunov, does sitting by a tree replace standing against a wall?
Look, when you sit relaxed by a tree, it's called passive cleansing. Passive cleansing never cleans deeply. It's just the beginning. But when you stand by the tree, that will be the strongest cleansing. If you just sit relaxed, it's not a strong cleanse, it's just passive. But if you stand by the tree, it's stronger than if you stand against a wall. Much stronger. And standing by the tree is harder than against a wall. You'll see that standing by the tree really has a strong impact.
Does it take less time?
No, the time is the same.
When you stand by the tree, do you need to lean against it?
Just like when you slightly touch a wall. If you lean against it, the static exercise becomes weaker. That's good when you feel dizzy, so you don't accidentally fall on branches.
What if you shift from foot to foot?
Then it's no longer a static exercise.
What if it's hard for me to stand?
You have very strong static tension. It's really stiff in your body, very intense. That's why you need to soften it in water for about a month and a half, and then you'll be able to practice standing.
Dr. Torsunov, is it possible to accept a husband in the diamond posture if you stand every 3 days?
No, you should stand on your knees in order to accept. In the diamond pose, you won't accept a husband, but you can manipulate him. You can direct him here and there, this way and that. He'll do whatever you want. Just like that. He goes to the kitchen to wash dishes. Just a glance and he's putting shoes away. That's what happens in the diamond pose. If you practice the diamond pose, he becomes under your control. Just a look and he heads to the kitchen to wash the dishes. Another look and he's putting the shoes in place.
How does one know if one has cleared all these energetic blockages? I run, practice prolonged movement.
Do you do static exercises? Does anything hurt?
No.
That's how you know. All's well. Nothing hurts. You've been out in the wind and don't get sick. Flying on a plane used to be hard, but now it's fine. This means your health reserve has increased tremendously. You have no problems.
But I still have problems.
What kind?
Well, for instance, I've been getting nauseous from traveling, even by car, for the last 2 years.
Yes, it's called an imbalance. When you cleanse static and dynamic tension but don't practice fasting, the toxins in the second energy layer get agitated and say, "What about cleaning me?"
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. The toxins in the second energy layer are causing this nausea.
So it turns out that even food, any food, is rejected.
That means your body is saying, "Stop doing static and dynamic exercises. We need to clean the toxins." So you need to fast for 24 hours once a week. Break through that blockage in the second energy layer. You're dealing with emotional depression. Break through this and live on the bright side. In 4 months, all these issues you're talking about will be gone. But there's this phenomenon. Suppose you run clearing 3 energy layers and don't want to run to clear all 5. That means that in 4 or 5 months, you'll start having problems on the last 2 energy layers because there's a strong imbalance in the body. I'm just saying, if a person doesn't want to, they create serious problems for themselves later on. Or a person does static and dynamic exercises but doesn't practice fasting, and then problems start because the body wants to cleanse comprehensively and you're not letting it. This energetic blockage on the second energy layer prevents you from moving forward. Go through to the end. I want to say one more thing. You can cover your ears or not. Just a little information. When a person starts performing asceticism practices and doesn't follow the schedule, they harm themselves because the body begins to heal and you skip your workout. It has nowhere to take strength from. Exacerbation or something else will start. And if you start performing asceticism practices, never stop because the healing will continue further and further. For example, in my 7 years of practice, 3.5 energy layers have been completely cleansed. They are as pure as a baby's, and the body cleanses even deeper, further and further. Now a commercial break. I've developed this technique and I've written a manual. The manual is downloadable from the website. In the near future, we will launch this program. In fact, it is already finished. In the next month or month and a half, we will launch this system. You pay $325. We collect all your medical data. Next, I draw a diagram where your energetic blockages are at 3 levels of depth. Where there's a strong blockage, where there's a weak one, where there used to be a blockage, where there will be. I draw all your blockages. And then my assistants will explain everything to you in detail. How you should heal, how to deal with these energetic blockages. And then they guide you through a chat for 6 months answering your questions. You can talk with an assistant twice for half an hour and ask an additional question. If they don't understand something, they ask me, and I instruct what to do for this person. If someone has a serious chronic illness and has started these asceticism practices, we take them under our wing and guide them, and that's how they heal.
A quick question about stones that help and about nutrition. Every person has their own specific products.
We have a service for that. We give a consultation. I've developed a program. It took many years. It's about modeling food and the individual. We offer this service. You can book a consultation. It's about $300. I personally conduct a full test, and then my assistant will tell you all about it, about all the products, and you can have this program on your computer. You can check it anytime. Even what concerns different types of products, it varies. It includes all types of vegetarian products available, from all kinds of milk to all types of seaweed, salt, sugar, everything. Basically anything you want. A huge array of products. Everything is scored on a 1,000-point system, and you'll know exactly. It describes raw and cooked products. And now we are refining the program for all aggregate states of matter. For example, something is suitable in raw form, but not when cooked, and something else works when cooked, but not raw. Soon, the program will start calculating dishes, meaning you input the ingredient amounts for a recipe, and the program will show on a 1,000-point system how well the recipe suits you. Also, in about a year, I'll develop a questionnaire. It will give you the opportunity, by answering specific questions for about 50 minutes. You will answer the questions, and the program will calculate and observe. As a result, it will determine your individual constitution, and you will get your diet absolutely free. But if you want a consultation, you'll have to pay. All this has been under my development for 6 years, and you can get such consultations about nutrition and daily routine. Contact Amrita. You can get such a consultation too.
Is this only relevant at a specific moment, or can it be calculated just once?
For lifetime. As for the moment, I'm also working on that. It will consider the city, climate, temperature, pressure, humidity, and all this will adjust the diet. I know how to do it, and it will take a few more years. But for each city, the constitution will have to be determined. If it's a new city, I will determine the city's constitution and input it. But this is high art. For now, it's just a dream. I know how to do it, but we haven't gotten there yet. Within a year, we'll start calculating dishes. I told you about the methodology. This methodology needs to be followed. First static exercises, then dynamic exercises, then fasting. That's the whole methodology.
How important is it to give up meat?
Meat is food that increases depression in the body, and therefore a predisposition to cancer. This has been proven by all doctors. Nutritionists say that meat should be consumed less, otherwise it can lead to cancer. And I say that the body doesn't need it at all. Because dairy proteins are absorbed several times faster. They are more beneficial and do not cause depression. In fact, they are the energy of love. Therefore, it's better not to eat meat.
Dr. Torsunov, if a woman practices fasting on Saturdays, but her husband has problems, will it affect fate or...
Definitely. If you practice fasting, then you'll be healthy. And if you want it to affect fate, you can pass the results on to another person. For example, you run, you get healthy, you can't transfer your health to anyone. But if you want things to improve at your husband's work, you can mentally say so after running, and then your asceticism practice will affect your husband's work. To learn more on the subject of health and healing of the body, please make sure to read my health guide, available for download on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram page. Thank you very much and see you soon.